Over the years, NBA players have had disagreements with refs, and they ain't shy about showing their beef right there on the court. And these are the times NBA players went off against the refs. Starting with Dennis Rodman. Dude's got this whole I don't care vibe and plays ball like it's a contact sport on steroids. Always mixing it up with anyone who dared to mess with his flow, especially those refs trying to hold him back with their calls. Back in March 1996, in a game against the New Jersey Nets, Rodman was in the spotlight after he got tossed for going toe-to-toe with another player on the court. But instead of making a graceful exit, Rodman went to the ref and headbutted him, doubling down on that ejection. And get this, he wasn't satisfied with just leaving quietly, he went full Hulk mode, ripping off his jersey and finally storming off the court. The NBA wasn't having any of it though, and they slapped him with a 6-game suspension without pay and a cool $20,000 fine for headbutting a ref and the totality of his actions on the court.
It looked like he headbutted him.
If he did, he throws his jersey back at a court, very upset.
Well, Dennis better get moving, or there will be more repercussions.
That said, less than a month after the Rodman chaos, the NBA had another player ref moment. Now, Van Exel was known as one of those players who always sat on the edge of his seat and was often looked at as a loose cannon. In April of 1996, in a game between the Lakers and the Nuggets, Van Exel had a serious exchange with ref Ron Garrison, and that began after a foul was called on the Nuggets' Dale Ellis. Van Exel made a sarcastic remark about the call and got a technical during a timeout. In protest to the foul, Van Exel then followed Garrison to the scorer's table and called Garrison a little midget and got his second tech and an ejection. And in response, Van Exel shoved Garrison onto the scorer's table, knocking him off his feet. Van Exel was suspended for 7 games, which was the rest of the regular season, and fined $187,000 for his actions against the referee, but he also missed out on $161,000 for the suspension. That said, even the best of the best have had their heated moment with the refs, like the time LeBron straight up demanded a call on a play, and the ref played deaf. The man had to step up and school the ref, but all he got was a one-way ticket to ejection town.
Here comes LeBron, changing gears, bumping and missing. He's is fouled, he's going to get a tech, and he's out of here! LeBron James has just been ejected!
And then there's Rondo, repping the Celtics, going all in to protest a foul call. First, he got hit with a tech for some heated words, but Rondo cranked it up a notch with a bump on the ref, earning himself a second tech and a VIP pass to the ejection zone.
Watch Bass, he's really scrambling here. The ball's loose, but he reaches over. And Davis calls it, he smacks.
Oh, he bumped him.
Yeah,
also.
You can't bump him, loose ball.
Next up, we've got the Joker going at it with the ref. Now back in Serbia, voicing frustration with the ref might be a bit more tolerated. But in the NBA, the refs ain't got time for that. Jokic couldn't hold back after getting a no call, and not only did the ref give him the boot, but he also showed Mike Malone the exit as well.
Try to alter it. Jokic twice had an opportunity to tip it. Oh, look out. Coach Malone is out of the game.
Out of the game.
Coach Malone is out of the game.
He probably touched the official.
Speaking of which, we gotta talk about an incident involving Markieff Morris during the 2018 playoffs when the Wizards and Raptors were squaring off in Game 3 of the first round. Within minutes of the game starting, Markieff Morris and OG Anunoby got into a shoving match, and it got physical. But here's where it gets wild. When referee Kenny Maurer steps in to play peacemaker and Morris ain't having it, he straight up shoves Maurer out of the way to keep his eyes on OG. After the game, the NBA fined Morris a hefty $25,000 for pushing a game official.
Anunoby and Morris, and some shoving between those two.
Wow, I think he realizes what he just did. You don't push an official. First of all, he threw the elbow on OG after OG committed the initial foul, and then he pushes the official, Kenny Maurer.
Now, we gotta talk about the 2023 Eastern Conference first round series between the Celtics and the Hawks. DeJounte Murray and the Hawks were on the brink of going down 3-1 against the Celtics, and let me tell you, it was a nail-biter. Tense moments, close calls, and some questionable ref decisions, you name it. The Celtics came out on top, sealing the deal with a 129-121 victory. But hold up, right as the buzzer dropped, frustration hit Murray like a ton of bricks. Walking off the court, he straight up bumps into referee Gediminas Petraitis, and guess what? The NBA wasn't letting that slide and slapped Murray with a 1-game suspension without pay, forcing him to sit out Game 5 of the series. Speaking on that matter, Murray made it known that some of his concerns weren't limited to Game 4. It goes back to when he played with the Spurs. He said, "A lot of ignoring, a lot of brushing me off, brushing my teammates off when asking questions of how we could do better," Murray said. And even just with that individual, it goes back to San Antonio, where I don't know why that person treated me the way he treated me over the years. Next up, let's rewind to 2022 and talk about the man, the myth, the intensity machine, Jimmy Butler. In a game against the Blazers with the score close in the second quarter, Butler drove the ball to the basket and finished through contact, but he didn't get the and one foul call he was looking for, and he lost it on a nearby ref. The ref hit Butler with a technical foul, but then out of nowhere, a quick second unwarranted tech followed with an automatic ejection. Butler was fuming for that no call and deserved the first tech, but that second tech just took it to a whole new level.
He deserves that technical, and he really does. But he walked away there. And why is he picking up the second technical at that point?
Speaking of which, longtime NBA ref Tony Brothers is notorious in NBA circles for mouthing off to players and coaches. Some find it refreshing, and some don't take it lightly. Back in November of 2022, when the Mavs faced off against the Raptors in the final minute of the first half, Brothers hit Dinwiddie with a foul call, and Dinwiddie didn't agree with the call. He voiced his displeasure and clapped about it to Brothers before quickly being teched up. But after the Mavs snatched that W, Dinwiddie ain't holding back. Post-game, he straight up calls out Brothers for tossing around some choice words, saying, "I would not like to be called a bitch-ass motherfucker to my teammates." Now, the league decided Brothers needed a little breather and made him miss a game assignment. But here's the kicker. It wasn't a suspension without pay. They kept the whole thing on the down low with no public announcement. After that, the NBA did not assign Brothers to a Dinwiddie game for several months. Speaking of which, we gotta talk about another NBA ref, Scott Foster. The ref who's been rocking the worst label in player polls from 2016 to 2023. Dude's got a track record of run-ins with players, but none is bigger than his long-running beef with the point guard himself, Chris Paul. Back in November 2023, the Warriors faced off against CP3's former team, the Suns. With 23.2 seconds left in the second quarter, Foster calls a foul on CP3 against Kevin Durant. While Durant's doing his thing at the free throw line, CP3 and Foster go all out, passionately jawing back and forth. Moments later, CP3 got hit with a technical foul. Unhappy with the punishment, CP3 kept going at the ref and quickly received his second tech and was ejected from the game. After the call, CP3 kept going at Foster and had to be held back by Steph from going nuclear and inciting a bigger conflict.
This has been going on for a good 45 seconds.
This has been going
And now
on
a
for
technical
13
foul.
years.
Different than maybe he. Oh, he's going to get tossed. There it is. Scott Foster says goodbye.
But this ain't the first rodeo for CP3 and Scott Foster. In fact, they've been locking horns for years, and CP3's been catching L's in games ref by Foster for years, enduring a 13-game losing streak in the playoffs until he finally broke free last season. The NBA even tried to play peacemaker with a meeting between them years back, but nothing came out of it. So it's easy to see why CP3 hates Foster's guts and doesn't want him reffing his games anymore. There you have it. Times NBA players and refs went at each other. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like and subscribe to our channel for more juicy NBA videos.